Hello, everyone. I am Reverend Nick Bullitt, and I'm so excited to be sitting here today with Reverend Nura Hirmina. And Nura, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, if you could just start by sharing a little bit about your background and who you are.
Sure. Well, One Spirit graduate, class of 2014. I think we all start there, right? And
Yes.
then graduate of ISC in 2016. And then I was fortunate to be able to return last year to be on staff as a second year dean. And this is my second year as a second year dean. And I am enjoying it beyond words, absolutely beyond words. In 2017, I started a doctorate at New York Theological Seminary, which is the path that took me to creating the workshop, Pray Like the Poets, Finding Your Voice. You know, that's my life outside of my corporate job. And then I have, my children who are all grown. I have my grandchildren. So I have that aspect of my life as well.
And so now that you've gone through seminary, interspiritual counseling, you're dean, like, what would you say is your own personal, unique ministry in the world and how you're showing up in the world? I know that's a big question.
It is a big question. The question is, how am I showing up in the world? I'm hoping that I'm showing up as my best self in any particular moment. That's going to look a little bit differently. I feel like one of my strengths, and this was really nurtured through One Spirit and ISC, is the ability to hold sacred space. And that's how I do my spiritual counseling. There's a lot of holding of space.
Can you share a little bit about being in the corporate world, how it's aligned with your spirituality, or how it's shifted your spirituality or informed your spirituality, or vice versa?
Absolutely. They do inform each other. I've been in a management position for quite a while. And I've also led the spiritual life for quite a while, even before One Spirit. And I used to have this feeling, and there's certainly this notion out there, that spirituality doesn't exist in corporate America. That there's the corporate life and then there's my spiritual life, but they don't come together anywhere. And I really discovered, especially when I was in One Spirit and I was a student, right, of spirituality and opening myself up more to having dialogue about faith and issues of faith, that's actually what people want to do everywhere. And so I started to see, and I started to come across people who were speaking to the corporate world, not using the language of spirituality, but really just using the language of humanity and caring. Everybody on TED Talk is talking to those of us in regular jobs. They're not talking to people who are living and working in ashrams and monasteries. They're talking to us as we struggle to navigate this householder life that many of us have, where we have to go engage with the outside world and we have to do some tasks that don't feel very spiritual in order to make a living, in order to support ourselves. And so how do you do that in a way that's conscious and mindful? And now to me, there is no difference. I mean, there are corporations that bring spiritual speakers to their annual meetings. This is the norm. It's become a beautiful melding, and we aren't asked to leave our spirituality and our humanity at the door when we step into our corporate role. And one absolutely has informed the other. My vow, when I took my vow as a minister, one of the lines was to be an expression of kindness in the world. And so I put that up as I do my calls all day. I work from home and I'm on calls and video calls all day long. It's like, can I be that every day regardless?
Beautiful, thank you. Because there's so much happening in the news right now about all these different religions and how each one, either works together or may not necessarily work together. As an interfaith minister and counselor, how do you see that working in the world today and in your life?
I mean, interfaith, as far as I'm concerned, has to be the direction that we move in. Interspirituality has to be the next step. And I believe there's even now a word for what's even beyond interspirituality. But, and each person has their ideology or their belief system, right? And it can change over time. It can stay the same over time. Doesn't really matter. Everyone is absolutely entitled to that. Whatever it is that the construct that each of us needs to create in order to feel a part of the whole, there's nothing wrong with that. And we have to move towards accepting that it's all of those together is what makes the whole.
Yes.
You know, interfaith and interspirituality has to be the direction we move toward, or we're going to destroy ourselves and our planet. We are so interconnected. At a cellular level, we are so interconnected with each other and with all life on this planet and the planet itself, that we have to move in the direction of interspirituality.
Yes.
Just an honoring of where everybody is and how they choose to have this experience, provided, of course, that, you know, do no harm, right? Do no harm.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's so great speaking with you. We are very excited about your upcoming workshop, Pray Like the Poets, and I hope to meet you in person one day soon.
I look forward to that. Thank you, Nick. It was very nice meeting you.
Thank you.